Why is a health at every size fat acceptance activist, Aubrey Gordon, being interviewed by Eating Recovery Centre, which is a mainstream, very well respected eating, mustn't say the following word because it gets censored by TikTok, problem, organization, very mainstream. All the insurance companies in the United States use it. They've got thousands of people they've treated, and it's just perfectly ordinary. They are promoting health at every size, fat acceptance, deadly rhetoric that kills people, that is killing young people. They had her interviewed, 2023 this is from. They were talking to her and this other lady who seems to be fat acceptance as well, saying that just it doesn't matter how large you get. All that matters is that you cure your B condition, the BINGE condition. I mustn't name any of these, but they were at least admitting it existed, which is more than some of these fat acceptance activists will do. But they were basically very heavily saying that you can recover from that condition and still remain super morbidly obese. That you can be, it doesn't matter how big you are at the end of it. The goal should never be to lose weight. The goal should never be to prevent yourself from gaining more weight. It doesn't, basically, they are promoting death. They are promoting death. This is like the other. This is the opposite version of pro the other one, the other condition that you mustn't say, pro that. This is that. All right, sure, they're not actually saying that the condition itself is good, but what they are, the BEEB condition, they're not saying binge is good, but they are saying that the results of it becoming very big and the results of whatever the cause is, it doesn't have to be that condition. There are other reasons people can have a massive calorie surplus, all kinds of reasons that can happen that are not that condition. But they're basically saying whatever the cause of your being deathly overweight is, it doesn't matter. All that matters is that you stop those behaviors, or at least that you can convince your doctor you've stopped them. And then it's fine. And they're demonizing any attempt to fight childhood obesity. They are talking just so much rubbish in this podcast, dangerous rhetoric. Their website mostly seems pretty normal, what you get on most of these websites. It's although they do have one note, which is that this condition, this one that is not restrict, because the restrictive ones, they will say, this has a really high rate of ending your life, right? But this one, they say the B one, they do make a note of, it doesn't seem to kill people like the other one does. The other one has a high death rate. It's like, actually, that's a very flawed conclusion, because obesity itself, complications from obesity, kill more people than any other condition in the United States, including more than smoking and more than car accidents. They kill more people. The complications kill more people. And if they say, this complications don't prove that it's really the obesity, no, they do, because by that same argument, you would say that the other one, being very underweight, that doesn't kill you either then, because it's always complications too. No, everyone always dies of complications of their weight, whichever extreme it is, that's the same. It's always some complication, not just the word under or overweight. It's always a complication of either of those things. So, obesity kills more people than any other. And yes, not all obese people are that way because of this condition, but this condition, it doesn't help. It tends to be one of the contributing factors when you get to very big weights. It's more often that condition. I mean, they could have asked so many amazing YouTubers and authors. These people are authors, podcasters. They've all over multiple media. There are so many people that have talked really openly and vulnerably about their problems with this condition, but also promote the fact that you have to save your life by losing weight, especially if you're super morbidly obese, but you can massively improve your quality of life, just the way your body feels and the things it can physically do without you feeling horrible and exhausted and hot and sweaty and just in pain, and for how long you can keep going like that. Even when you're not that big, even when you're just overweight, it still benefits you to lose that extra weight. It still benefits you. So the idea that they're saying it doesn't matter what the end result of weight is, that is, just imagine, if you don't think that's a big deal, imagine if they were saying about the other one, if they were saying, as long as you say that you're eating normally now, it doesn't matter that you have a BMI of 9, it doesn't matter that you have a BMI of 8 or 9, it doesn't matter, as long as it doesn't matter what your weight is, health at every size. I mean, if someone came in there saying the things that these women said, like the things they were saying about their weight not mattering, And if a woman had come in who had a BMI, I bet even an ounce underweight, someone could be an ounce underweight, and they would have tied that woman down and force-fed them donuts, because that's the impression I get, which is that they're only demonizing thinness, because they never said any of this stuff about the other way around. They never talked about, let's get rid of weight stigma and let's stop shaming children for being underweight. Now, they might say, if you ask them, they'd probably say you shouldn't be shamed for it, but at no point does it even occur to them to apply the same health policies that they're to both ends of the spectrum. They're not at any point saying that we shouldn't try to help underweight children gain weight. At no point do they even mention that. They don't even touch that subject of what happens when a child is underweight. For whatever reason, there are so many reasons you can become under or overweight. It's not always one of those conditions. It can be many different reasons why your calorie balance is off. So many reasons. Calories in and the calories into the bloodstream and calories out of the bloodstream has a bunch of factors involved, but the idea that you shouldn't fix it, would they say that? Maybe they would, but I don't know. I don't see any signs in their other videos, because I've watched these a few of these videos before, because I have an interest in multiple mental health issues. I've never had one of these particular kinds of conditions myself, but I have been overweight and underweight for other reasons, briefly, in both cases, quite briefly, luckily. And so I know what it's like to be at unhealthy weights for brief periods of time when young, which is different when you're older and when it's more severe, I know. But so my real passion for this, though, comes from how I felt getting just a bit overweight very quickly really impacted my quality of life. And I realized that people just don't talk about how even a bit of extra weight already makes you feel so much more tired and out of breath, especially if you have asthma, the extra panting and stuff. And it's just so many quality of life issues went down. My blood work went bad. Just being regular old overweight, not even getting to obese. And yet, and even worse than that, I've witnessed more severe levels, and nowhere near as bad as these ladies even. So the idea that they're sitting there and lying to your face, just like someone at the other end can do, sit there and lie to you and say they feel fine, that they're not in any pain, that everything's fine, that they're not in pain every time they sit down or lie down because their bones are poking onto something, and everything feels painful. They won't tell you that until maybe after they've recovered. This is the same thing. These people are sitting there and pretending that the only problems are the social stigma, not the health issues, not the discomfort and the inconvenience, the difficulty moving around at the sizes that they are, the dimensions that these people have. It's just as unhealthy as someone who is significantly underweight. It is just as bad, and it will shorten your life. It's Brittany Sauer, the lady, died of this particular overeating condition. She died at 28 years old, and it was definitely complications from obesity, and it was a horrible way to die, the way that it actually happened. And it was, she had horrible problems with her skin folds and getting rashes and infections and things. And she was 28 years old and she died, and there are teenagers dying of obesity now. So the idea that your weight just doesn't matter, it would be like saying to someone, you could recover from the other end and yet be unable to gain weight for some reason. That would still be seen as a problem, though. If you were eating loads of food in one of these clinics, but you still weren't gaining, they would say, okay, there's something very wrong. We need to investigate and fix it, find out why. Do you have parasites eating all your food before you get to it? Is there something problem with your gut? Is it like being is there a problem with your digestive system that you're not absorbing any calories? Do you have some condition that's making you burn loads of calories that might be serious that we need to know about? They would look into it. They wouldn't just be like, oh well, as long as we can see you seem to be eating, so we're just going to assume that it doesn't matter that you've got a BMI of 9. I really hope they wouldn't do that, but they seem to be doing that with the other people. And you've got all these these are just famous cases. The Brittany Sauer was so sad. You can see her last video very shortly before she died, and it's so sad. She was really hoping that this wasn't going to happen, but she, and it's just so tragic. And I've witnessed the effects on a family friend, and it's just so awful when someone suddenly develops these awful complications from obesity, and it can happen so suddenly. And that's where my passion comes from. I'm thinking they are encouraging more people to go down this route, which is so cruel. And there are really good YouTubers who talk about this vulnerably and talk about how they are trying to lose weight in a healthy way. They could have asked Graphically Alex. I'm going to give him a shout out. I'm trying to think of others with that particular condition. I'll link some. But ask those people, the people who aren't in denial and aren't trying to say that they can stay very overweight and it just doesn't matter. Why ask Aubrey Gordon to talk about this.